welcome to the UFL Week 1 overview. There's a lot to cover for Week 1, first season of UFL coming back after a few raids, so let's get right into it. First game was Lions vs. Colts. Not much to say here, no stats were shown, but there was a player caught MSing on the Lions, so the Colts took a light FFW to start their season. Again, I wasn't at the game, didn't watch it, no stats were shown, so I don't really know what happened. Next, we have the Cowboys vs. Bears. This was an absolute shootout between AC and TJ. This was TJ's first time being back at QB for a minute. Despite the rustiness, he still won his team the game in a thrilling 52-51 win over the Cowboys. Notably, QB Retake played receiver for the Cowboys and got 16 targets, which was a 34% target share. The next game we had was Rams vs. Dolphins. The Dolphins took their belt and got an ass whooping by the experienced star QB Ramsey, who led their team to a 63-12 victory with a 73% completion rate. This was a great win for the Rams. They dismantled the Dolphins. The Dolphins were never good. So, yeah. I mean, Rams are always probably going to win this game. Next, we have Chiefs vs. Jags. The Chiefs had 6 with the Jags, pulling away early with a whooping 63-0 win. The crazy part about this game especially is that their QB almost had a perfect game. I think his name is like Verse or something. He had a 157.24 QBR. And that would have been the first ever perfect game in UFL history. And I think the perfect game is like 158.33 QBR. So he was 1.1 away from having a perfect game. So like 6% completion rate or something. Next, we had Ravens vs. Panthers. We saw the comeback of former Super Bowl QB DXJ. Now, we haven't seen this. I thought he died. People thought he died. And we've seen a few OG players come back this season. We've seen Matthew. We've seen DXJ now. And DXJ went on. He got scrappy. He made sure he got gritty. And he took the Ravens to a 60-46 point win over the Panthers. Notably, he threw not 9 interceptions. He threw 9 touchdowns. The weird part is he threw 7 interceptions. So that could possibly be an issue. His interceptions are just too much. The final game that was played, don't worry about all the other games. They're just FFWs, FFLs. We're not going to really talk about them. The final game that was played, though, Giants vs. Broncos. This was a crazy back and forth game. And I played this when I watched it, so I know what happened. The Broncos were doing great against the Giants, which was, the Giants had Jair, they had RMG, they had Retake, just a bunch of star players. And the Broncos are a new team, so we weren't expecting much from them. But this was a back and forth touchdown game. And what ended up happening was there was a few key plays by this player who was using something called a swole tech to gain extra height, which is a form of angling. After this, towards the end of this game, we'll start with, Retake didn't knee on one of the last plays that would have won them the game after RMG got an interception. So, they end up throwing a pick to the swole techer, and they end up losing. But, after the game, all those clips get reviewed of him angling, and they decide to FFL the Broncos. Because of this FFL, the Broncos disband, so the Giants ended up getting an FFW after a long, difficult game. And that's all that happened this week. I'll hope to see y'all next week, and hopefully we get to commentate on more games, and there's less FFWs, FFLs. So far, pretty active for a restart of a league, I mean. So we'll see. Thanks for listening.